Welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast with your hosts, the Brothers Newland. Now, let's talk toys.
And hello, I'm Michael.
I'm John.
And this week I'm Andrew. So trying to make sure we get all this right. This it's been a long week, but we have a fun episode this week. We are talking about what should have been your first tricycle. Really, is what I think. The way I see this, we're talking about big wheels. These things are awesome. You should have gotten a big wheels, and then maybe eventually grown up into a power wheels. But depends on where you're at in life. So we're talking about big wheels. I know there's a pretty good little history here behind this, and some jumping around with where they're made from, and
a
all
little bit
of
a history. Yeah.
So we'll get into that in just a moment. I'm pulling up my notes so I can remember where we're at. John, can you give us our social needs?
Socials. Hold on.
He's lost them too. Did you lose the notes, John?
Oh no!
I just forgot to pull them back up. So.
I figured this is episode 45. I figured by now you'd have it memorized.
I got distracted. My phone went off. Usually I have them pulled up ready to go because I know you're going to go straight to socials. So, I run down them pretty quick. But all right. So social networks, where to find us? Check out our website, toyrewindpodcast.com. You can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch are all searches by Toy Rewind Pod. If you're looking us up on Facebook and YouTube, research Toy Rewind Podcast, and that'll pull us up. When we do our toy box showcases, we do stream those to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, which I know we've really got to find some time to do some stuff because I still got stuff I want to open. I'm sure y'all have stuff.
I'll be honest. I gave up. I started opening stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
you can show off what you've opened.
I'm showing off the cans because I don't really have a lot of shelf space left.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have one soda over here. It's my Spengler. I know what it is, but I technically didn't open it. It's just, I know what it is.
Yeah. I'm still got a few things
sitting
here.
You still have the Transformers too, so.
These Transformers back here, they're just sitting there waiting.
That's gonna have to be a whole set. Michael, you need to get control of this so you can just have your own, like a day that you have a free day.
Just myself,
Yeah. A day that you have a free day, you could just do one. And
he needs some friends over here to opened up and.
Yeah, so that's what we got to do. We got to get you kind of some control, Michael, so you can just.
All right.
You've said that, and he still doesn't jump in there and get control of it.
Just to do it.
Yeah, well, I forgot to do it before we started recording, but it's all
good. All right, so you've also got the podcast Bingo. If you want to check that out and play Bingo, podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind. And then always look for the updates for any of the collector showcases or anything like that we do with our friends Geek Together channel.
I'll give you a free bingo card. Shout out to Mom and Dad because this week, Monday of this week, so this comes out on Thursday, was their 47th anniversary. So shout out to Mom and Dad. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah. I hope y'all remembered and texted them earlier.
I did.
I did not, but I have already talked to them prior, just not today.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for them, none of us would be here.
True that.
Is that how that works, Michael?
That's how it works.
All right. So there's all those. Be sure you check us out. Follow the socials because you never know when we're going to do a collector showcase or a toy box showcase or just any of the showcases that we do. I know we have a couple online for the collector showcases. I know Michael's working on one. I got one that I'm working on. So hopefully here soon. I'm sure Damien will be happy to hear that because I know he wants us to do those and get those taken care of. So, all right. So that's how you follow us. That's how you get to know who we are, what we're doing, and we can all, we have a lot of fun posting stuff there. So, All right, here's our fun for all question. Everybody ready for it? I didn't
Yes.
tell you what it was today.
You
so
did not. No, so we
I
have
did
no
not.
idea.
So it's all spur of the moment.
Okay.
If you could go anywhere on the planet, where would you go? And no travel included. Just like you could be like, I want to go here, and you're there. Like it's just instantaneous. So that way you don't have to worry about travel.
Michael, to get it?
No, he didn't read the notes. Michael doesn't know where the notes are.
I know where the notes are. I just hadn't looked at them.
So Michael, you're up.
He does all the other researching stuff.
That's right.
He has all his notes.
There's several places I'd like to go. Just if I just say I want to go there, I go there. I always wanted to go. I am going to go one day. We're going to go to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I know that. The Baseball Hall of Fame would be cool to go to. I'd love to see that.
Coopersfield? Is that right?
Cooperstown.
I knew it was something. It's Cooper something.
Yeah. And you would know who's not really a baseball fan. Okay. Disney World would be nice, or Disneyland. I've never been to either place. Let's see, where else? Something. Say what?
Anywhere within the world. Borders. He's still within the continental borders, like this.
Right.
Well, I don't have any interest going anywhere else, really. I guess I don't know
why. Why don't you have any interest going anywhere else?
I don't know. Nothing else really interests me.
All right. Well.
Another thing that we may mention later on in this place, going to the National Toy Museum, so the Hall of Fame there too.
That could be fun. That could be fun. All right, John, where you're up.
The Tahiti Islands.
The Tahiti Islands. Where's the Tahiti Islands?
It's in the ocean somewhere.
Yeah. So it's Australia, and then kind of, if I'm right. Here.
See, I thought
Australia would be a cool place to be. If I went anywhere else, I would like to go to. Like to see Australia.
I thought about Australia, but then I realized everything there's trying to kill you at all points. Australia.
Well, then you just wish you were somewhere else and you go somewhere else.
I mean, I guess it's true.
Yeah.
I would go down to the.
It's like right here.
Where did they film all the Lord of the Rings stuff? It's just left my
New
brain.
Zealand.
New Zealand. I was like, what's the? Yeah, I'd probably go down to New Zealand or something like that. It could be fun. I think that would be great.
I think something like that would be great. That's why I chose the Tahiti Islands, because I think it would be. It's way out there.
It's way out there. Yeah.
That's where Agent Coulson spent some time there too.
In Tahiti? Yes. Right after he got stabbed
by Loki.
Yeah.
But I also want to see if the island is actually shaped like a female.
Like a what?
A female.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I thought you said a penguin for a minute.
Penguin.
I was like, what?
From it's a Disney. What's the one with the hook?
Oh, Moana.
Yeah, Moana.
I know where you're at now. Sorry, I wasn't thinking movie at all. I was just like, what's he talking about? There's an island shaped like a woman. I didn't know that. It's interesting. All right, so there's a few other places. If I was just looking in the States, the beach, one of the beaches, probably in Florida, something like that. California is nice. Those beaches are nice over there. So, lots of fun talk there. So we should all. What?
South Padre is not bad.
The South Padre is not bad. See, I have a theory that all the big CEOs of corporations should get together, put their money together to get teleportation invented, right? Because then they could use it on their companies, and all their people you wouldn't have people late for work. You would have it like they could just be at work, and then they could be home.
Now, we've talked about this once before, hadn't we?
Yes, we have. I've probably told you this
I'm
before.
against it. Yeah, I wouldn't be teleporting nowhere.
Like, I mean, I'm just saying.
I'd be afraid I come back all mixed up. I'm not gonna.
You won't fly. So, I mean, why not? If you don't have to fly and you're automatically just there, why not?
You're just there.
It'd be worse than flying, because then you just when you came back,
Or are you worried about the?
I'd have eyeballs into my fingers or something. I don't know.
How do you know that's how it works, Michael?
I don't know.
Maybe it's the way Flash does it. You're just like you're through a portal and you're there.
No.
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 I mean,
I don't know
There's-
that if it
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
that might be
yeah,
all
that's
right,
what
but-
he's worried about. He's
But it's
worried
the
about.
Charlie and Chocolate Factory or the Star Trek Beam Me Up Scotty stuff. Yeah, I
Beam
don't.
me up.
Now, if there's like a portal you just go through, like a door, yeah, maybe so.
It's the
That
same
makes more
thing.
sense.
Like the way that the
That was
portals are
not
supposed to
because you
work
just go
on.
through instead of being demoleculized.
It's like walking through a door. It's like the portals that are supposed to work in Big Hero 6, but don't work.
Yeah.
Have either one of you all seen that movie?
Yes.
Not
Okay.
yet. No, I haven't seen it yet.
It's a great movie. It's a
I
Marvel
know it's
movie.
been
Michael,
out for
go
a
watch
while,
it.
but
It has. So, spoiler, they don't work.
okay.
So sorry if that spoiled it for anybody. Go see Big Hero 6. It's been out for like 15 years now or something like that. I don't know. All right. So that's our fun for all question. Just places I guess we want to go. Lots of fun there. So time to talk some toys and talk about some big wheels. I enjoyed playing with the big wheels that I had. So this should be a fun one for us. So
So you had one.
yeah.
I don't. Just like normal, I don't recall ever having one for me, but
I had one. Or maybe it's just one of the kids in our neighborhood. I remember being on one all the time. Or
I remember being
I
on
think
one,
you
but I
had
don't
one.
remember having one.
we had. I know we had bikes, but I remember being on one all the time. So I don't know if maybe it was just neighborhood kids. I mean,
I'm
I don't
sure.
know.
I'm sure I had one back in the day, but I don't remember much about it. Talking with Rainey, she had one. She had the little pink and white one, the powder puff one is one she had. So
yeah. So all right. Well, Michael, Mr. Professor, give us
all
some
right,
history.
yeah. So big wheels. Let's see. So Big Wheels is a brand of low riding tricycles with a larger front wheel. It was introduced by Lewis Marx and Company in 1969. It was very popular in the 70s and 80s, partly because of the low cost. Excuse me, low cost due to it mainly being all plastic, and as well as consumer groups saying it was a safer alternative to traditional tricycles and bicycles.
Is Frankie stuck on the couch, Michael?
No, I don't know what Penny's in there barking at
Oh,
something.
it's Penny. Okay.
It's probably her food sitting in the floor. She likes to bark it. I don't know what she's doing in there. But anyway, so excuse me, I got to laughing about it. So Big Wheel. So although Big Wheel was a registered trademark, it was frequently used as a generic name for any toy whose design resembled that of Marx's toy. So there was several other brands throughout the years after Marx designed it and put it out in the market. All these other companies kind of they had some differences and changes and some themes and stuff as well. But it was just everybody called the same thing.
They were all the
like
same
Coke.
things. Yeah.
Everything's called a Coke or a soda or something. It had a certain name. But anyway. So in the 1960s, designer Ray Lohr, who worked for Lewis and Marx Company, he took apart. He would take apart his tricycle when he was younger, and so he got the idea of trying to do this. So he took it apart, mixed up the parts, and reassembled them into like an upside down trike. And when you do that, it sits real low and it handles like a race car. Is kind of what his idea was. And sitting low, you get that feeling of speed when you're moving, and that.
I can guarantee that's true.
Yeah. So on old steel tricycles, the rider sat up higher than the front wheel, and was top heavy. So when you did make a turn or whatever, it would tip over, and it wasn't as fast as what kids want to go. When they went really fast is when the tricycle would fall over. So if you put that center of gravity low and underneath the wheel thing, it stabilizes it so it won't turn. And when you do turn the back wheels, what was really fun about these was when you pick up your speed and then you turn it real sharp, your back end would slide out while your front wheel would get a little grip and the back wheels would slide. And you just you would slide through the corners like you're drifting, kind of. That's how
It's like
referred to now. So
this is where Tokyo Drift and all the Fast and Furious movies got their idea to drift. This
Yeah, I'm
is
sure all the guys who made that when they were kids, they were doing it on their big wheels and going around corners and stuff. So
there's a DIY trick I came across on these to give your front tire more traction, and it was to take a bicycle tire that's the same size as the rim or the wheel, and then put it on there and screw it into the plastic. So now you have that rubber wheel instead of just that plastic wheel. But
it was a hard plastic. Yeah.
When you turned, you could definitely get the traction going again on that front wheel, and your back tires would just spin out.
They make these for adults.
And actually, there's one that was supposed to come out that was a bigger one for adults here recently. So I don't know if it ever did or not.
There has been some,
but it was, I know there have been. But these were, I've seen some that I was watching one of those car restoration shows, and they had a couple of them made some with motors on the back of them. So,
yeah, I remember that one.
A motorcycle motor. But so getting back on track, what was about these? The wheels were that hard plastic, and sometimes they would split a little bit and get some gravel or something in there. And when you're going along, you can hear the sound inside the wheels. So, but once they start splitting like that, they wouldn't last much longer. But they put a lot of I know kids put a lot of wear and tear on these things because they're so fun. So like I said, what Ray Lord did was he flipped that frame on the tricycle, which would put the seat of that. He would flip it and put the seat on the back on top, and it would be a couple inches off the ground or an inch off the ground. Which allows for your high-speed skid outs and on slanted or uneven surfaces, like we just talked about. And the molded plastic construction of the whole big wheel kind of cushioned all the jolts and bumps and everything you had when you went over bumps, or you still get that, but it wasn't as jarring as the metal steel tricycles that also were out at the time. So and it, like I said, also sitting that low, you can actually pick up your speed and still be stable without flipping over. So, so the big wheel outlived the company that originally introduced it, which was Marx, the Marx company. Yeah. So they, we mentioned them, I think, in one of the other podcasts where, they were a big powerhouse in the 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And then they just they weren't spending. I read something where they weren't spending enough advertising dollars to keep up, and they didn't get into the electronic games in the 70s and all that kind of stuff. They made a lot of tin metal toys and trains and stuff like that. So they didn't step up into the electronic age like they should have. So the 70s, they just kind of started fizzling out, and you had the bigger companies like Mattel and Hasbro and all them start coming up and taking the market share out of that. So 1972, Marx sold the company and he retired. Louis Marx retired. He sold the company to Quaker, the makers of your Quaker cereals, oatmeal, that Quaker, Quaker Foods. And then they eventually sold it to other companies because it just didn't outperform, because they had I think Play Schools who they had, or I'm trying to remember the other one, but they weren't doing as good as the other brands, so they ended up selling it again. But throughout that time, other companies come through and made, like we said, they made replicas of the big wheel, their own versions and stuff like that. Eventually, Carolina Enterprises, known later as Enterprise Industries, I think throughout the 80s and 90s, they produced the big wheel for like a second generation of kids. So you had Coleco, Play School, Gearbox Toys, General Foam Plastics, and then Razor USA. They all had their versions of it, and there were several other companies out there that had versions of this as well. The big wheel was eventually, it was such a big toy for the 70s and 80s. And so in so talking about that real quick. So Marx sold 3 million of these things in 1971, or almost 3 million of them, and then again almost three more million in 72 before it gets sold to Quaker Foods. So I mean, just think, in 2 years you sold almost 6 million of these things in the 70s. So
Crazy.
That's huge. So I mean, it pretty much made them the toy hit for those 71, 72 years. And then, like I said, they ended up selling to Quaker Foods in 1972 for $52 million. The company sold for $52 million. A lot of people said it probably wouldn't have been half that if the big wheel wasn't part of their repertoire. So it just if it wasn't for the big wheel, they wouldn't have even got that much money out of the Marx company. So
wow.
Eventually, the big wheel, like I said, was such a big deal in that time period, and in all kids' lives growing up. Even, it spawned all these other companies' versions of it. So it was eventually introduced into the National Toy Hall of Fame in 2009, along with that same year with them, the Nintendo Game Boy and the ball. So just a generic ball.
The ball.
The ball.
About that one.
Yeah. So also in 2003, Disney's Pop Century nostalgic themed hotel, when they opened it up in 2003, the 70s era part of that hotel, outside of it is a 3-story tall replica of a big wheel as one of the main centerpieces. It says 22 foot tall. That is a huge big wheel.
Yeah.
Like I said, the original big wheel, the front wheel was 16 inches is the normal size big wheel. So
you said 60 million in just a couple of years, right?
Yeah, 6 million. Yeah, and 71 and 72, Marx sold 6 million big wheels.
Okay.
So there's also another version of the big wheels, the bigger, badder brother of big wheels from Marx. Also made these. It was the Green Machine. It was advertised for older kids, 8, 9, 10 years old, that range. And the slogan was for 8, 9, 10-year-old kids who really know how to ride. These things had a stick shift steering and swivel actions back end where the back wheels would turn. That would actually make it, you can actually get it to slide and spin around and all kinds of stuff when you get up to speed. Just shifting those sticks back and forth to turn the back wheels instead of the front. So that was, I remember, we never had that version of it, but I have seen it, and they are pretty cool little things. And there was a couple others, companies as well, produced those throughout the years. Some of the powerhouse names that you see on these, you had throughout the 80s, 70s, and 80s, you had a Dukes of Hazzard version. You had Coleco's version had a Smurfs theme. There was WWF. I know Plaid Stallions had a version of this called Hot Cycles. And they had Hulk and Superman and Spider-Man on some of theirs, some of the superheroes on their versions of it. There was also a Superman Machine version of the Green Machine. It was almost identical to Marx's Green Machine, but it had the red and blue Superman and it had his logos and stuff on it. But the Green Machine wasn't being produced by anybody at the time, so Plaid Stallions kind of took that and ran during that time when nobody else was making that. So, but there was all kinds of different themes and stuff throughout the years.
One of the brands, the Power Cycle brand, had a lot of themed ones.
Yeah.
And
I feel like this is like small bikes for kids. A lot of them are themed. You know, you have the Batman bike, the turtle bike, the Barbie bike.
But like the big wheels didn't have a lot of themes.
No, Big Wheel from Marx themselves. It was pretty much the red and yellow Big Wheel. They had the green machine, which was just a green one with stick shifts instead of steering wheel. The steering handles. And then you had the Power Puff, which was pink and white for the girls. But everything else, really, anything that had major properties tied to them were from the other companies.
So Power
similar
Power
ideas,
Cycle had a Smurfs one. They had Mask. They had Transformers. They had multiple name brand shows from the times. And
that's all that was big. Like I said, the Superman ones, I was just saying from Plaid Stallions, that was from the late 70s. So it all comes down to what was big at the time. You know, you had Superman late 70s, early 80s. And when you get later in the 80s, late 80s, you get into Batman themed stuff. The mid 80s, like I said, you had the Smurfs and Transformers and the WWF and all that kind of stuff throughout that time. So it just depends on the whole time period that you're at in this. So like I said, the from 69 up till 72, when it was just Marx, Lewis Marx Company, it was just a plain red and yellow big wheel is really all it was. So.
Red, yellow, and blue.
Yeah. All right. How much do these things sell for? Anybody know?
No. Why don't you inform us on that?
That's what I was looking. I'm going to look it up.
Rainey was looking up hers to see the exact name, the Powerpuff one that she had when she was a kid. And eBay has them going for $200 or $300 to $400 for a brand new one still in a box from back from the 70s version is what that is. So
the original in a box, not.
But if you get one, yes, it's unassembled. But if you get one assembled, I think they're going $50-$60, I think.
I think you can get new ones now for about $70.
Yeah,
because they are making them again. They're probably being sold at Walmart. So if you want one, go to Walmart. There is an original Big Wheel vintage one. It's one of the first ones, the first year, preserved really well, and it's sold on eBay for $2,500. So obviously these things go pretty well, but I can't. Let's see, how much did the original Big Wheel cost? Anybody have a guess?
From 1969,
yeah,
I would say $12.
John?
25.
Mark's new Big Wheel, ages 3 to 10, speed cycle, on, off, real engine sound. We've had a real engine sound. Mark's Big Wheel for $988.
I was close. I said 12. Another cool feature on these as well, and a lot of them had even better as they some of these other companies made them similar. As it had that brake as well. You would be going fast as you can, and you reach down, you pull a little lever brake that's on that back wheel, and you lock up the back wheel, and it would spin out. So that brake, a lot of them had that extra brake to help do the spinning around. So,
Okay, 1962, correct?
69. When they first.
Okay, sorry, 1969. Yeah, so 1969, $9.88. That's $79.63 today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you could buy them for $70 now, like new ones, I mean, I guess they've pretty much aged pretty well.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same. You know, counting inflation there, it's about the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good for these. Another thing that I thought, where's it at? I lost part of it. So the adult size ones, there's a company called High Roller that makes them. I think we all need some. These look fun. Like,
are they motorized?
It looks like some of them are, not all of them are. But there's lots of people wearing helmets while they're wearing them, which is probably good.
Well, I mean, you got to wear a helmet for anything now, really.
Yeah, wear a helmet. Wear a helmet. Be good. Be good to yourself. Don't break your head open.
what's the fun in that?
Yeah, exactly. So these things are pretty. I don't remember what mine was or the one that I rode. I don't. I feel like it was late enough that it probably wasn't just one of the red and yellow ones.
Yeah, that's what I kind of remember being younger. Like I said, I don't remember much about having one, but I remember red and yellow.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. So it wasn't the big wheel Marx version of it. It was another brand that looked similar, but it was still red and yellow, or orange and yellow, something like that. So
Any idea? You guys, any ideas of big wheels from pop culture? Anything that you remember seeing in pop culture?
I know I've seen seen some somewhere, but I don't remember. Nah, do you have anything?
I do.
written down there?
I'm trying to see if you guys can guess. There's one specific movie that Michael. I'm not surprised that you don't know what it is.
Wait, there's.
Isn't there like a scary
It's
movie or something that's got somebody riding on one?
It's The Shining.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Danny drives all over the Outlook Hotel in The Shining on his big wheel. And it's a very interesting one because it is, it looks like an older one, but it's got a big blue back.
Mm-hmm.
The seat was blue.
Yeah, the seat was blue, but it wasn't like, actually looking at it now, maybe it's not even technically a big wheel. It's just a tricycle, but it sat like a big wheel. Like you sat down like that,
sat low,
but it doesn't have an actual big wheel on it. So
somebody flipped the tricycle over.
Yeah. Was there? You remember seeing a version of it maybe in Toy Story or something like that?
That's what I was thinking. I think there's something in Toy Story.
Yeah. Let's see. Toy Story. I can't spell.
And if anybody's listening to this and you guys know, just send us a message. Let us know, and we'll see if we can air it out on the next episode.
I need to rewatch these. Yeah, that's a Fisher Price toy. That's not anything having to do with big wheels.
Okay, Fisher Price. Yeah, that was big. They had a bunch of Fisher Price stuff in Toy Story. Yeah.
That it wasn't coming up, but yeah, I feel like that would have been a good place to have one. And there's I haven't watched a movie in so long. I need to rewatch it. These are pretty awesome. I like these adult ones. If I could get one of these, I would definitely ride one now. I'd ride down the neighborhood. I'm right by these two hills over here. That'd be fun. I'd probably wear a helmet.
That's what I was trying to figure out, because out there at the lake, if we had one, of course I was older, you would have been the youngest at the lake. But just that one hill,
we could ride it down.
You'd never get up either way.
You'd have to carry it through the woods, and there's no way you're riding it up. So,
but even on our circle, you go down. That would be awesome to go down, but I still don't think you
got to keep it.
Go back up. Yeah.
You got to keep it on the side over there where Michael hit the mailboxes.
Yeah.
That way you're in a flat area. So, okay, let's see. We've got one thing to do here. I need to pull up my screen so we can talk about some rankings. And where does Mark's big wheel fall for you guys on our ranking list here? Michael?
Let me put it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's got numbers on it. Can you not see the numbers?
No, I guess my screen is to where I can't.
I mean, they're very light numbers, so I'll give you that.
If I turn sideways, I can see it. Okay, let's do. Let me put it in between Inhumanoids and Ronin Warriors, right in there.
So number 7.
Yeah, let's put it 7.
Okay, John.
I was thinking 6.
Number 6.
Yeah, but
so you're
Inhumanoids.
You're pushing Inhumanoids down.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. I'm going 5 because I mean I'm pushing Johnny Lightning down. That's like my kind of spot for. I don't really know about the rest of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I'm putting mine at what I say 7.
7.
Because I remember having one, but I don't remember much about it. The most I remember is when I first got my bicycle and riding a bicycle. I had more fun on that. And the way our neighborhood was with the kids and stuff in the area was we were kind of spread out, so it was easier to.
It's mom and dad.
Oh,
okay. So it was easier to get from one place to the other on your bicycle than it would through the power wheel. Now, if we were like in a cul-de-sac or a circle or something right there, and we were all close to each other, it would be great having one. But I think the way our neighborhood was set up, with this spread out with the kids in the area, the bicycles was the way to go on ours. So I remember I had more fun riding my bicycle than I do remember ever on a big wheel.
Mom said that we had tricycles, just regular tricycles. They don't remember us ever having a big wheel.
Okay.
So no, that doesn't mean that the kids down the street.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's what I remember. I do remember riding one. Because I remember
I think Keely
drifting
had a
on
green machine at one time.
He might have. That makes sense. I just remember drifting it on those rocks that the road was made out of and shooting the rocks out.
Yeah.
So
that was the other part is, I mean, our roads were not made for stuff like that. Now the bicycles and stuff were great.
Right. So, all right. What do we have? What do we have left? Anything else we want to add about the big wheels? Because these were kind of fun.
Definitely want to look into a motorized big boy one.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you the link for the High Roller USA. I'll send you the link now, and you can check it out because those look fun. And if you get one, we'll just come ride yours.
There you go.
How about that?
There goes. That's it.
So
I'm in a neighborhood. We can actually do that.
You could bring it here too. We could do it here.
True.
As long as you don't get out on the loop.
Right.
Yeah.
You can go back towards the school back there.
You go up to the church.
Yeah, there you go. The church
park right up there.
That's it.
I took Adrian up there to go drive, and it scared me. There wasn't anybody in the parking lot. All right, John. I guess run through our socials. If we don't have anything else to add, I know this is gonna be a short one, but that's okay. I don't have a game. I couldn't find out about. There's not a lot about these guys.
No, there really wasn't.
It's pretty simple, to the point. A little short history on it, and off we go. Yeah. So.
All right, John. Socials.
All right, so check our podcast bingo out, podcastbingo.com/toy rewind. Andrew updates all that stuff, and I know there's a lot of bingo squares that got hit on this one and everything. So Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch, Toy Rewind Pod, Facebook and YouTube, Toy Rewind Podcasts. Email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. And then, of course, check out our website, which has our rankings and everything on it at toyrewindpodcast.com. Did I say that twice? toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com is the email.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I messed that one up, but yeah, like Michael said earlier, if you ever had one of these or have pictures of yours or anything, send them to us on Instagram, Twitter, however you can, and I'll contact you and see about sending you some stickers or something.
Yeah, we got loads of stickers.
See if Larry's listening, maybe he can send us a picture of his since he's had pretty much everything we've talked about.
Here's the question: is Larry's put together, or is it in a box somewhere where it's like had to kind of take it apart a little bit? That's the question.
Good question.
Yeah. And what colors is Larry's? Is it original, or is it a themed one?
He probably has.
My bet is a themed
original.
He's like no, I think he'd have like a superhero one.
That's my bet is a themed one. So that's where
WWF.
WWF. That's
WWF. Yeah.
So Larry, we want to see the picture of your WWF big wheel that you had. One thing I wanted to add, by the way, the wheel is a 16-inch diameter on that wheel.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So I didn't know if you actually said it, Michael. So yes, he did. All right. Well, if you are looking for some fun podcasts to listen to, watch, or do all that stuff, be sure check out Larry over on.
SDS.
Sorry, I lost my place. The SDS guys, check them out on the SDS guys. They record every Saturday, or most Saturdays, in the evenings at some point, on on Twitch. So go check them out there. You can listen to them. Lots of fun. Check out the Geek Together podcast. They record on Twitch on Saturday right before SDS guys. They don't release theirs as a podcast anymore. So boo Damien. But also you can just watch them live. So it's all works. Check out the Average Nerd podcast, the Four Dorksmen, and shout out to them. More shout outs to them. We've been giving them shout outs like all week because, I think this was
we got to, I think we mentioned it last week. We got to see Joey.
We got to see Joey.
Time with him, got to meet him in person, and we had lots of fun. So
and they just had their 100 episode thing. The best part about the 100th episode is the spot that I won came down between me and Michael.
Yeah.
I watched the video on that when he picked it. It came down to it's just me and you, and it like barely went over onto mine. I was like, yes.
I was hoping to be able to get, but you got a pretty cool piece out of that, Andrew.
That ramble's pretty cool. Yeah,
pineapple in it. Yeah,
I definitely need to hit up Vancer and get some more of those because those are definitely pretty cool. So, I would definitely love to have one that is an avalanche instead of the Golden Knights ones that he does do. So I doubt he would. Las
Vegas, isn't he? They're in Las Vegas.
They are in Vegas, so I doubt he'd ever do a avalanche one. But if you did, I would. If you listen, I would be happy to have one.
It could be a one of one.
I got one, so I'll take another one. So where are we at? Okay, 3 beers and a mic. Nerdy Curious, Nerd Portraits, Movie Retakes, the Totally Rad Movie Podcast. Still Not Dead? Is it dead yet? Is it still not dead?
Yet.
I don't know.
Not yet.
Secondary Heroes. They're going through Loki. Lots of fun right now. The Figure Booth. Nate, our buddy Nate over at the Figure Booth. Second Opinion, and then obviously, anytime you just want some positivity, go check out Sully over on his Twitch channel, and that's our Nerdy Night community. There's more to it, and it's a great community. I love being part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I do have something I'll have to open. I will wait and not open it when it gets here. It's being sent to me. When it gets here, I won't open it. It's gonna be nice, and we'll make sure we do a thing. Michael, you can do some. If you have time this week, we'll get you hooked up so you can do your showcases and get those Transformers opened. So,
okay,
I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to add?
I think we're good on Big Wheel this week.
Big Wheel. John, nothing from you?
Big wheels.
Yeah, was there any tagline for them?
There was like a song. It sounded like it was from, the original video. It sounded like it was like Aretha Franklin or something like that. That sang the group that she was in. Now my mind went blank on that. But that's what it sounded like. She was singing about the big wheel, and then
oh my gosh,
it was somebody that sounded like her. But I don't know if it was her.
I might have to look that up and then drop part of that into the back of part of this episode. So if you get to hear that, good luck. All right. Well, then I guess we've talked about big wheels. And on behalf of the Brothers Newland here at the Toy Rewind podcast, play on.
You've been listening to the Toy Rewind podcast. Follow and join in the conversations at toyrewindpodcast.com.